After watching Masters of the Universe, I walked out of that theater with one absolute certainty. Get ready, because there are a lot more movies coming. And today I'm going to break down exactly why this franchise has the real potential to become something truly massive. Welcome to Avengers Protocol, the channel where we analyze entertainment with the numbers and the depth it actually deserves. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now and ring that notification bell, because you're not going to find this kind of analysis anywhere else. And if you're already part of this community, you know what to do. Drop a like on this video. It genuinely helps us keep producing content like this. It might be early to say it out loud, but watching Masters of the Universe left me genuinely excited. I believe this franchise has the potential to become absolutely enormous. And when I say enormous, I mean enormous even by the standards it has already set across animation, comics, merchandise, and toys. Now, I'm not going to sit here and debate whether the story is good or bad, or whether I personally liked it. We're going beyond that. We're talking numbers. We're talking valid comparisons. And the best comparison we have right now is the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Sonic and Masters of the Universe are far more similar than you might expect, not just because both lean hard into nostalgia, but because their financial profiles are remarkably close. The Sonic franchise averages around $60 million in opening weekend box office, which is very close to current projections for Masters of the Universe. The target audience is also nearly identical, almost half of it is family-oriented, the kind of moviegoer who buys 4 tickets at once and brings the whole crew. And early indicators suggest the critical and audience reception will land in a similar range too, solid scores from both critics and general audiences. The total box office haul for the Sonic franchise has already crossed $1 billion worldwide. And here's the thing, even independent of box office performance, Masters of the Universe carries enormous potential through merchandising alone. T-shirts, hats, action figures. This franchise was literally born as a toy line, which means it is going to sell product at scale and generate massive revenue for Mattel and everyone involved. It essentially becomes a money-printing machine. And the world of Eternia? It is vast. There is more than enough material for sequels, at minimum a trilogy, with stories that would carry just as much appeal as this first film. The natural follow-up to Masters of the Universe is a Shiare, Princess of Power movie, set in an entirely different reality, opening the door to build a new corner of this universe with fresh characters. And that alone expands the Masters of the Universe franchise in a major way. And if you think I'm just wishful thinking, the live-action Shiare series at Amazon MGM already received updates as recently as 2024. That series may or may not move forward, but the industry-level interest in bringing that character to live action already exists. The groundwork is being laid. Something worth noting about Masters of the Universe is that several fan-favorite characters didn't get much screen time in this first film, largely because they're CGI-heavy characters, which dramatically increases production costs. And that's precisely where Masters of the Universe 2 comes in. It would arrive after the Shiare movie and set up the epic reunion everyone who grew up with these characters has been waiting for. He-Man and Shiare, brother and sister, fighting side by side, just like in that classic animated film where the two characters met for the very first time, which was also the moment Shiare was introduced to the entire world. Do you see how the road ahead is completely paved and almost effortless to follow? This is a proven formula for success and profit. The He-Man film, Masters of the Universe, arrives in 2026, following the same production logic as the Sonic movies. The Shiare film would follow in 2028, 2 years later. And 2 years after that, in 2030, Masters of the Universe 2 arrives, bringing both characters together on the same screen. Hey, real talk. If you've made it this far and you haven't hit the like button yet, something is seriously wrong. Fix that right now. It takes 1 second and it means everything to the channel. And if you're not subscribed to Avengers Protocol yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single analysis going forward. Every subscription lets us keep producing this level of content. Done? Good. Let's keep going. But this isn't the whole picture. Masters of the Universe is a Mattel property, the same company that owns Barbie. And ever since the unstoppable success of the Barbie movie in 2023, Mattel has been vocal and public about its plans to bring multiple other franchises to the big screen. Masters of the Universe was one of them. Matchbox also has a film in production at Apple, based on the toy car franchise. And as hard as it might be to believe, Hot Wheels also has a live-action movie scheduled, also produced by Warner Brothers, the same studio behind Barbie. And Barney, Polly Pocket, and even Bob the Builder are already in development. But here's something important you may have already noticed. Mattel, unlike Marvel for example, does not have all of its franchises under one studio roof. We're talking about multiple different studios: Amazon, MGM, A24, Warner Brothers, and others, each producing their own films and series based on Mattel intellectual property. So right now, this is not a single shared cinematic universe. At least not yet. Now, did you catch something interesting between Barbie and the new He-Man film? The story in both movies places its characters in the real world at some point. And that real world? That could be exactly the shared space where these different franchises and characters eventually cross paths. You might be thinking, that makes no sense. These are competing studios with competing interests. There's no way they sit down and agree to have their characters appear together. But there is a precedent for exactly this, one that every single person watching this video already knows. Spider-Man's film rights belong to Sony Pictures. And yet Sony agreed to a deal with Marvel Studios to share the character on screen. The solo Spider-Man films belong to Sony, while the broader Marvel ensemble films where Spider-Man appears belong to Marvel. It is the single most radical example of cooperation between competing studios in Hollywood history, and it is working spectacularly for both sides. There are other historical precedents too. Who Framed Roger Rabbit had Warner Brothers allowing Bugs Bunny to share the screen with Mickey Mouse. Ready Player One assembled a staggering number of characters, references, and brands from dozens of different companies and studios. So not only is an epic trilogy possible, I'll go further and say I genuinely expect a full Mattel shared universe to develop across these franchises. Marvel Studios already proved that this model generates astronomical amounts of money. The only ingredient it requires is planning. And at least for now, Mattel appears to be making smart moves, putting capable and responsible people at the helm of its projects. And look, let's take a step back for a second and really appreciate what we just laid out here, because I think it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and lose sight of just how rare this kind of opportunity actually is in Hollywood right now. We are talking about a franchise that has been dormant in live action for decades. The last time He-Man appeared in a major theatrical release was 1987, nearly 40 years ago. And yet here we are in 2026, and the character is not only back on the big screen, but backed by one of the most powerful toy and entertainment companies on the planet, distributed by a major studio, and positioned inside a broader franchise strategy that Mattel has been carefully building since the Barbie phenomenon proved the model works. That is not an accident. That is a calculated, long-term bet. And the smart money says it pays off. Think about what we covered today. The Sonic comparison alone should tell you everything you need to know about the financial ceiling this franchise is operating with. Over $1 billion in global box office across 3 films, consistent audience performance, strong family appeal, and merchandise revenue that runs parallel to every single release. Masters of the Universe checks every single one of those boxes, and in some areas, it actually has more going for it. Because the mythology of Eternia is richer, the villain roster is deeper, and the emotional stakes of the He-Man and She-Ra sibling storyline are genuinely cinematic in a way that hasn't been fully explored on screen yet. The She-Ra film is not just a spin-off. It is a universe expansion. It introduces an entirely separate world, a new cast of characters, and a new emotional entry point for audiences who may not have grown up with He-Man specifically but who will absolutely connect with her story. That is how you grow a franchise beyond its original fanbase. That is how Marvel went from Iron Man, a character most casual moviegoers had never heard of in 2008, to a global cultural institution worth billions. You build outward. You add layers. You give people new characters to fall in love with while honoring the ones that started it all. And the 2030 convergence, Masters of the Universe 2, He-Man and She-Ra sharing the screen, that is your Avengers moment. That is the payoff for years of patient, deliberate storytelling. If Mattel and the studios involved execute this correctly, that film alone could be one of the biggest cinematic events of the decade. The pieces are all there. The roadmap exists. The audience is already nostalgic and ready. The new generation of kids is being introduced to these characters right now. And the business case, between box office, streaming, and merchandise, is ironclad. So yes, I am genuinely excited. Not just as a fan, but as someone who looks at this industry analytically and sees a setup that is almost textbook perfect when it's executed with the right level of care and ambition. This franchise deserves your attention. And this channel is going to be covering every single development as it unfolds. The She-Ra news, the sequel announcements, the Mattel Universe updates, all of it. Which is exactly why you need to be subscribed right now. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, drop a like right now. Seriously, it takes 1 second and it helps this video reach thousands more people who need to hear this analysis. Subscribe to Avengers Protocol if you haven't already, and comment He-Man movie down below so we know you're a real one who stuck around until the very end. That kind of engagement gives this video incredible reach and allows us to keep producing this level of in-depth, data-driven analysis for this entire community. Don't sleep on this franchise. Don't sleep on this channel. Follow Avengers Protocol so you never miss what's coming next, because trust me, there is a lot coming. There are more videos on screen right now. Go watch one. You're already here, might as well keep going. Thanks for being here. As always, absolutely phenomenal. This is Avengers Protocol, signing out.